What's up, guys? Ty Mustafa coming to you from Tech Smart, and we're actually doing a trigger build. It's a drum trigger build. We're doing it ourselves. This is actually for our church, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys what we're doing and how we're doing it. We've got the Heart Dynamics Maxim heads on the toms, actually just on the first tom and on the snare drum, which is over here. This is our old trigger build where we actually had the trigger on the outside. We built these ourselves as well. You can do it for pretty cheap from Radio Shack or something like that. But we actually got everything over here pretty much at a discount price. So it's not something you can't do, but it is something that you need to have more of an advanced brain for. So I would suggest that if you have like something like a Trigger I/O, which is right over there, where is it at?
It's over here. It's at Elise's Trigger I/O.
If you have an Elise's Trigger I/O, then I would suggest that you would rather do the first build. And if you guys need some more information, just go ahead and comment on that, and I'll tell you exactly how to do that. But as far as the other stuff, you're going to need something that's more advanced. So we just purchased the Roland TD-12, which does the rim and the piezos, and it does 3-zone ride, as well as double zone hi-hats. Those are actually
These are the
12-inch CY12s from Roland. And what these do is they give you the bell, the bow, and the edge, and they have two quarter-inch inputs on them. And the thing about the two quarter-inch inputs is that's if you really want to use it as a ride. I don't know if you can see the writing on there. Can you see it? It says bow bell and then bow edge. And you'd basically plug it into that as a ride. And right here it says it's the crash ride. But we're actually going to be utilizing this as a crash cymbal. So the way we will actually do that is only plug in one of those TRS inputs into each of these. And then we have a CY15R, which is the ride. But it's kind of like a crash ride in that it does the same thing, the bell, the bow, and the edge. And each of these zones are chokeable at the same time. We were building our own cymbals with the Trigger I/O because there's really no one that actually makes them that good, and we've been kind of waiting. As you can see, these are kind of old. We have the bell piezo as well as the actual ride bow, but we don't really have anything for the edge. So we're actually going to be using this in the studio and going to the Roland cymbals for our live setup. We also trigger through Superior, which is a great drum program from TuneTrack, and we might start doing something with Studio Drummer from Native Instruments, but we're not exactly sure. But anyway, this is the final product. We have the rim silencers on there. We have a head piezo as well as a rim piezo for each drum. And you can see the process happening right over here. We've got Daniil, who's actually our drummer. And we have a stereo jack right here. And then we have one piezo mounted to a foam cone right here. And then underneath, we actually have laying flat against this. This is actually a cake pan. Like a cooking cake pan that you can get from Walmart or whatever. We actually ordered it from a bakery website. Make sure that you get 1 inch smaller than the drum. So this is actually a 13-inch cake pan on a 14-inch drum. We ordered this online. It's our bass drum trigger. It has a foam pad. As long as the piezo and the cone are on there, this basically acts as a buffer zone so that you're hitting the right kind of MIDI notes. And this is also adjustable, so you can adjust this and adjust the piezo accordingly, and then kind of check on your software basically what you'd be, what notes you'd be triggering. Try and make it that the loudest velocity is 127 but that you can also do every velocity below that. The good thing about the Roland TD-20 is that that's better than the Alesis Trigger IO or any of the other triggers that are kind of cheaper. I mean, brains that are other cheap, the other brains that are kind of cheaper, is the fact that, you know, the range and the velocity sensitive. I would say you probably get about 10 different velocities with the Trigger IO, but you really do. I have tested it, and I can probably get every single range from 0 to 127 on a Roland TD-20 or a Roland TD-12. So they are worth their weight in gold if you have the money to spend on that. But don't get me wrong, if you are able to get a Trigger IO to like $150 online, you know, you can still come out with a decent sound. It's really, the sounds come from the computer. You just got to make sure that you can work with the right kind of gear. The reason why we're triggering a drum set is because our church is kind of small. You're actually sitting in our sanctuary right now. It's not actually that big. We'll do like a little panoramic view right here. It's not actually, you know, the biggest church, and the biggest issue that we've had for so long is that we have a live drum set and everyone can hear the drums, but no one can hear the vocalist, no one can hear the guitars, no one can hear anything else. And so what we decided to do is we decided to go the Trigger route, and they can get a little pricey. That's why we make them ourselves, because we can actually save a lot more money. For a kit like this on the market, if you were to pay retail for it, you'd probably pay $1,400 to $1,500. That's excluding the actual drums. I'm talking about just the triggers. But basically for us, this cost, we did 2 drum kits, one in our studio and one here, and it cost us around about $300 for both kits to be hooked up. Cake pans, foam cones, light switch covers, everything that we needed, all the hardware. Basically, we utilize the software that is made by TuneTrack because they're the only ones that can really do it that's real sounding. You know, we don't use the Roland brain. The sounds just are not realistic. But we've recorded albums with TuneTrack software, and we love it. We really do. The hi-hat that we have the, I think it's called the VS or the VH or the HH12, something like that. It's the best one that Roland makes. You can research it. You'll get the name. I think it's the V something. But it is really awesome. Gives you the ability to do the bow and the edge of the hi-hat so that you can get just different tonalities out of it. And again, TuneTrack supports that. So we're actually going to be installing this stuff, and when we do, we'll pretty much show you that it's awesome. Our kit that we're actually triggering is actually a DW collector's series, and people are going to be like, why are you triggering a collector's series? Well, we have to do what we have to do. We love this drum kit. We love the way it sounds. We love the tone that it brings. But at the same time, you know, we've got to do what we got to do. There's people coming in here saying it's way too loud. We actually did cage the drum kit. We did put it in the cage. The problem with doing that was that we ended up losing a lot of connection with the audience because, again, your drummer's in the cage and it looks like he's in the cage, and it's okay because you can get the sound out of it. And firstly, you know, we didn't actually have the compressors and the things that we do now. But even with the compressors and things, there's a disconnection, especially because Daniil, our drummer, he actually sings and plays at the same time. And so singing and playing, sometimes he's even leading from the drums. It can create a disconnection if you're in this dark little box in the corner of the stage over there. So when we decided to actually do this, we decided to do it right, you know, for the first time. We've actually been triggering for about, how long, about 2 years?
2-3 years.
It's been about 2-3 years that we've been triggering now. And we finally decided that it's worth spending the money on the really good brain and the really good heads and the stuff, because we don't just want to have it sound good, but we also want it to feel better for the drummer, and he's been kind of frustrated with the way it's felt before. So yeah, just a little information for you guys, informational video. You know, comment below if you guys have any kind of questions about the drums and stuff like that and how you hook it up, and we could even send you some diagrams and stuff that we found online on how to do this stuff. Again, this is the cake pan build, and it is a pretty good build. I've tested it pretty extensively with the Roland TD-12 brain, and it sounds excellent. It really sounds good. It has the kinds of velocities that you would expect from a real Roland drum kits. So thanks guys for watching.